We are at the American Towman Expo in Baltimore this year, 2024. Right now, I'm having my Q&A session with Ron Pratt, aka Rotator Ron. You may have seen his YouTube channel, and today we're going to watch one of his videos and just talk about the scenario and how he worked to solve the problem and make the recovery and all that jazz. So here we go. This is train versus semi. Train always wins. So let me skip a little bit through your intro, which I love the intro.
That's kind of become my people recognize
Signature.
it. Yeah, I've changed it before, and people are like,
Oh,
no, don't.
I like
Don't.
the consistency,
Yeah,
before and after, and even with your font, you use blue and yellow,
which
and
is our
gold.
truck color scheme.
Yes.
So
Yes, so I like that. So tell us what happened when you walked up here. What's going on?
Okay, when we drove up, all we knew was that there was a semi versus a train. That's all they told us.
Oh.
They said expedite because the tracks are blocked.
Yeah.
The train stopped and traffic stopped on the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
I get there and I'm looking at exactly what you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
That's what you see. Trailer with no axles under it. The axles are knocked out. One of the tires is actually way back here in the trees.
In the tree,
In the trees. And it's loaded with probably 60 to 70,000 pounds worth of corn that had just come out of the field. That's the driver. And there's my son, Ethan.
Yes.
Basically, it's a non-marked crossing, private crossing, railroad crossing.
Yes.
And driver thought he had time to make it across, and obviously he didn't. But gratefully, nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
Nobody was injured. Equipment can be replaced, people can't. So.
And that's what I appreciate the most. When you come to a scenario, you first ask if everyone is okay, because lives are not replaceable, but as you said, equipment is.
Right.
So, yes. So when you get calls, it's a lot of times you don't have a lot of information. They just say, this happened, get over here now.
Correct.
And you're like, okay, I'll show up. So how do you know which light, medium, or heavy duty truck to bring?
They'll usually tell us it's either a semi or a car.
Okay.
So we'll know immediately to send a heavy.
Yeah.
And typically we'll send the rotator out on a situation like this where they tell us that it was a train involved.
Yeah.
We'll send the rotator because we know at some point it's going to be needed.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'll usually show up first or have one of the other crews show up, assess the situation if it's not too far away. Okay. And then we'll call in other equipment as needed.
And then you saw that bald eagle. That was a nice catch there.
Yeah. My dad flying over saying, hey, that was cool. But yeah, sometimes we're given limited information. Other times the dispatching agency is very specific, and they tell us exactly what they want, what they need. Like we had a car in a creek last week, and they told us it was 40 feet down an embankment, bring your big rotator truck and a flatbed.
Okay.
They told us exactly what they wanted. So that's what we did.
That's helpful.
That's the equipment we took. Yeah. And then this one, we actually brought equipment to the scene, and the owner of the truck informed us that he didn't have insurance on the trailer, and we sent that equipment back just to minimize the cost to the customer.
Yes. So I'm going to skip forward now to the part where you're getting ready to figure out how exactly, what equipment you need to, oh no.
Commercials.
Oh no, we don't have YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
Darn. I didn't think it would give us another ad if we're already in the video.
If you skip through it, especially when you skip through, it gives you videos.
Okay. Well, I'll keep that in mind next time.
This is not one that you can skip through either.
It's not. It's a whole 30 more seconds, you guys. Yeah. We're not advertising this. Let's just be clear. This is not what we're advertising here. So, I noticed, we'll see it when we get to it, You pulled some synthetic round loop slings. Are those typically your go-to over heavy-duty chains?
It depends on the situation. I prefer them when possible.
Okay.
On the rear, it was questionable whether I was going to use synthetic or not because there was so much cut metal. And you have to be careful with the synthetic around sharp objects because it'll slice right through it, especially under tension. But typically synthetic is my go-to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm afraid to skip forward.
No, that's
Sit
okay.
it a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, right now, all we're doing is we're clearing the or the trailer axles so that the train can get moving.
Yes.
That's the highest priority at this point because every moment the rail is shut down, I forget the numbers, but it's astronomical, the figures that it costs the railroad for that rail line to be shut down.
Really?
And that is a main railroad. That was for Union Pacific on that one.
And traffic obviously can't, I mean, even after the train is moved, traffic still can't come in and out of there because it's pretty obvious you're clearing the situation and making it safe for everyone. But this is a lot of cut metal. It's completely removed.
Yeah. It took the entire rear end, and you'll see it in a minute. It's all mangled. Both axles are mangled just horribly.
Right there?
Yeah.
What brand is this? Do you remember? Is it Safeall?
I got it through Zips. I hate to say exactly.
It might be Zips or Safeall brand then.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not sure which.
We sell both.
Right, but it was those were endless loop slings.
I was trying to see the label on it and I couldn't quite catch it in your video, so that's why I wanted to ask. But pulling that out first.
The railroad has rules about proximity to the rail track, to the rail line.
Okay.
So that was too close to the rail line for them to be able to move rail traffic.
I see.
So that had to be moved first. That was the first priority.
Okay. And that's the police officer or?
There's actually a Union Pacific rail officer that shows up later in the video. That's a Union Pacific employee. I'm not sure who that gentleman is. This is pretty simple. Right now we're just getting that dragged out of the way, and then we'll put it on one of our rollbacks, get it out of the way of the scene, and
making sure the little pieces are clear.
Yep. Yes. Ethan's back there picking up all the scrap. Like the air tank was knocked loose. You can see he's carrying the air tank.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
It took a hard hit. I mean, it took a real hard hit for it to knock it loose.
And blow a tire way into a tree.
Yes.
That's pretty dramatic.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And also the engineers in the train weren't injured either.
Okay, good.
They were good.
Good.
Yeah, nobody was injured.
So it was, it was the front of their train.
Correct. Yes, the engine.
Cut off the end of that.
Correct.
Yeah, that's scary. I mean, if I was inside one of those, either the train or the semi, it's like.
And you can't stop a train.
No, you cannot.
I think they said the minimum is like a half a mile.
For it to fully slow down and come to a complete stop.
At the minimum, yeah.
It's a lot. Okay, I'm going to skip forward a little bit.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. I think if I skip a little, it won't do an ad, but if I go too far, it might.
All right. Now he's rigging up for using the synthetic slings again. I'm just going to pick it, swing it around, and set it on our rollback, and that way we can keep traffic flowing on the on that highway.
Rotators are fun, right?
They've changed the way we do it. Things. I mean, it's just they make things so much easier, so much quicker.
And it's fun. You'll see it soon. It'll lift it up and then spin it all the way around.
Yeah, look at that axle. It just keeps falling as everything's just torn loose. I mean, it's just demolished.
So what we will see, I remember like sitting at the edge of my seat here, when you have it over the trailer or your flatbed, excuse me, and you're about to set it down, it's like, as a viewer, you think, well, just drop it down. But you're taking your time and you're making sure everything lines up right. It's like, oh, just do it, you know, like ripping off a Band-Aid. Like but slow and steady, more safe, which is
Yes.
what's important.
Correct. You got to remain calm.
Yes.
Regardless of the situation, you got to remain calm.
Because you have all these strangers just standing around watching you, and so that adds pressure.
Oh yeah, you're always under pressure by either police agency, fire agency. In this instance, the rail lines, the rail line especially. They've got to get that rail moving again.
Yeah.
We talked about that a while ago, but there's just a lot of moving pieces to a situation like this. And my wife's probably getting sick because she says she can't handle my head moving.
Sometimes I feel that way, but I appreciate the point of view.
Yeah. First person view is what they call it.
First person view, it's like you really are there.
Yeah.
And you get to experience it the way you did.
And the only way I can explain it's what we call keeping your head on a swivel, being aware of your surroundings and all the potential dangers. That's why I'm constantly looking around. I know it drives some people like my wife crazy, but it's just a safety thing that's ingrained into us, you know.
Good.
Constantly being aware of your surroundings.
Good. I want to watch this. It's like you think it's there, but there is a strategy to this that you know a lot of people don't know. But you also talk about the weight capacities that these slings can handle.
Yes.
And I think one of your colleagues brought back a sling. This is later in the video, and you said, "Oh, I don't think that's going to be strong enough. That's not for the right weight capacity." And you asked, you know,
look at the tag.
What's the tag for basket?
Yep.
You know, like it really does matter.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It's math.
Yes.
Math and physics.
Math, geometry, and physics.
Yes. So this is
in practical, everyday use.
In a different scenario every single time.
Yeah.
So you're constantly learning.
Well, and then you brought up the capacity of the straps. Mm-hmm. You also have to consider the condition of the straps. We check all of our rigging after each job. The rigging that was used gets put away separately from the other equipment. I know some people criticize me for the boxes didn't go back where it got it. That's intentional on our part.
I see.
Because anything that was used on that job, we take it back to the shop and we want to inspect it, make sure that it wasn't damaged. If it gets damaged, we order a new one.
Oh.
It's all right. It's okay.
Well, you could have taken it because we have an ad now. Was that somebody calling for recovery?
They're supposed to be taking care of that at the shop right now. Yeah, I'm supposed to be off duty, but I'm never technically off duty.
I mean, you're taking classes here at the tow show, so you're still working.
I am. Taking a class here to try to help our business. I'm here with Zips AW Direct, and happy to be here for them. They've been very great. I'm very grateful to be here.
We're so happy to have you here. It's like, you know, we get to have a celebrity on site.
I don't see myself that way. That's just it. I don't understand the whole celebrity thing. I'm just me. I'm out there. This video was like last month or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm out there working, just like most of the people in this convention center. Most of these guys and ladies, and we do have a female on staff too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The only reason you don't see her on the videos now is because she's pregnant.
Oh,
and we've got her on light duty until
Okay.
until she gets has the baby and
That's
can go back to
smart.
full. She wants to be a heavy operator. She does. So hey, and she's got a knack for it. She's good.
Good. You can trust her to handle a lot of scenarios then. Okay, I'm gonna try to skip forward again. Hopefully we don't get another ad. Where do I want to go?
Probably when we're placing the straps and the.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, you asked about the synthetic versus the chain.
Yeah.
If you notice, I use.
You're using both.
My head won't stay still. I used chain around the metal, but then I went to the synthetic from there.
Yeah, instead of wrapping synthetic around.
Because there were sharp points on that.
Yeah.
I could have used protectors and stuff, but it would have taken a little extra time to do that. So I just went with the chain on metal to metal.
I noticed at least once or twice in this video alone, I hear you say, well, I don't like it, but it'll work. It's like, because yeah, it gets a little caught up on the back end. And when that happens, it's like, do you take the time to pull it down again and make it go around? And it's like,
that's a judgment call, situation to situation, based on safety.
Okay.
My primary goal, anybody that's watched my channel, I'm big on safety.
Absolutely.
Granted, I could do things better. I'm not perfect. I'm human. I make mistakes all the time.
No one is perfect.
But I want to make sure that myself and my crew all go home at the end of the day.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing to me, is making sure that we all go home.
Yes.
Thankfully, right here, we're not having to deal with a lot of traffic. So this is one of the less stressful situations because we're not working on the interstate.
Yeah. It's a little bit more of a rural area,
Yes.
It looks like.
Yes.
Especially with, the crossing, the train crossing that doesn't have arms.
Correct.
Which is why the driver went through.
Correct.
Thinking he'd have enough time.
Yeah. It's a private crossing, so from what I understand, it's not required to have it.
Oh.
It's a farm crossing is what they call it in Missouri where we live.
Okay.
So it's not required because it's going onto private property.
Oh. And I see. Is it difficult sometimes to get people's attention when they're like, I don't know what's going on down there. They're afraid to approach, maybe, even though you're saying, come on through, there's enough room.
Oh, actually, I was waving to one of our guys. That's.
So this is yours.
That's our truck. Yeah, one of our trucks with our Trail East trailer. That's what we'll end up hauling that grain trailer home on.
Yes.
Because it has no wheels.
Yeah.
It can't be towed away. Can't be pulled with a road tractor. It's going to have to be hauled. So thankfully, we've got the Trail East that has the 41-foot deck, and that trailer fits just boom perfectly on there. Yeah,
it does fit perfectly on there.
Later in the video, you see that.
I'm gonna skip a little bit. Let's see what happens.
Yep. Talon was trying to get set into position while we get the rigging set.
Yeah.
There were some rim slings.
Yeah. Do you like
Oh,
synthetic?
I do actually. Yeah.
What do you like most about it? Is it the weight or
several things? The weight, the strength per weight. It floats on water.
Yeah.
It's just, it does have a few downsides. You have to be more cautious with it. You can't run it across things, especially when you're under high tension. But as long as you're careful with it and you know what you're doing, it's much easier to work with.
Yeah.
Much easier on your back, especially me getting older,
How many years have you been
Since the mid 80s. I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, since the
So
mid 80s.
before I was born.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I don't consider myself to be old. I don't consider you to be old.
We started out, there I'm connecting the rim sling in.
Yep.
But we started with a Holmes 750, an old Holmes 750 split boom. and a first-gen Zac lift,
Okay.
hydraulic underreach. If you're familiar with Zac lift, relatively okay.
I've seen that name around here too. Zac lift.
Yeah.
Seen some.
The
booth
first
over there.
gen Zac lift was the first attempt at doing a hydraulic underreach on a heavy, and it worked good for back then. You know,
Yeah.
versus the old toe sling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that too.
It was a big upgrade from the old toe sling.
And there are always upgrades in this industry.
Oh, yeah. All the time.
So
all the time.
Is this a? Oh, when you look up, it kind of looks blue, which is why I thought it was a synthetic winch line.
That's one thing I haven't done. I haven't switched to synthetic winch lines yet. I want to.
Yeah.
But
is the process of switching a winch line very extensive?
It is expensive, and there's modifications you have to do to the truck. You have to smooth all the edges of your cable guides, your rollers. You have to change at the end of the shiv heads. You have to change from the metal guides to poly or plastic, so that you don't get that abrasion. The abrasion on the synthetic is what you got to really be cautious of.
Have you ever had a winch line snap on you?
Not in a long time.
Not in a long time.
I have in years past,
okay.
when I didn't have the training and experience that I do, and we did things not when we were uneducated.
Not quite to the book.
Not right. Quite, yeah. And we would push the equipment beyond its limits, not knowing any better. And thankfully, we have invested in the education and learning, and also maintenance. You know, keeping up with your stuff and inspecting it. Like I said, after each big job, you go back and you inspect everything.
I think that's a great habit to get into. Just making sure everything you use is still good to go for the next time, and not just assuming.
Well, you put the truck back to ready status is what I call it. Okay. You go back, you make sure everything's in good working order. If it needs replaced, you replace it. And you get it back to the same shape it was before you left the shop.
Yeah. So now we're finally getting this. This is the back end.
This is the nose.
This was the front.
That's the nose, yep. And that bugs me still to this day.
How this turned?
That
how it's catching on the corners.
The clevis was turned just a little bit.
Oh, I see. Because it's not on this one.
Correct. Yeah.
That's what you meant by I don't like it, but it'll work.
Yeah. I didn't like it because you're kind of side loading it.
Yeah.
There's not that much weight on here since they had already, at this point,
you skip
past it. Yeah, they backed out all the grains.
Yeah.
So there's not much weight here other than it's an empty trailer. And it's only a double hopper instead of a triple hopper trailer. So it's a lot shorter than many of the grain trailers they run now. It's an older grain trailer.
Yeah. I know you said that. Okay. I'm going to try skipping forward
skip
a
little
bit more.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get now. Okay.
Yeah, you can keep going because they try something in here. It doesn't work.
Right. He puts it on that bar and it was just bending it.
We went for quick and easy and it didn't work. So you back up, regroup, go with safe and solid.
So when something doesn't work and does that get stressful in the moment, or are you just kind of like, you know what? We'll think of something
I'm kind of easygoing. You got to be fluid. You know, you want things to go a certain way, but they don't. So you just roll with it and make it work. But our job primarily is problem solvers. We have a problem and we have to solve it. And it's not always, my common analogy, there's multiple ways to reach 10.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, you don't know that, really? Okay.
No, I've never heard this.
All right, there's multiple ways to reach 10. You can go 5 plus 5. You can go 9 plus 1. You can go 100 divided by 10. Each one of them gets you to 10, but you go different routes to get there. As long as you get to 10 safely, that's the goal. So you may do it a little differently than I do. That's okay, as long as your method's safe.
Yes.
I do it differently than some people. I get criticized for it, but as long as we all get it done safely and our crews get home safe,
yeah,
that's what matters.
Everyone goes home at the end of the day. Yeah. So I'll skip this part because I know that was the no.
Yeah, that was the nope. It didn't work.
I knew that would happen.
That's all right. More ads.
There's this one section that I want to talk about, and you even put text across the screen for us. Safe Fall armor angle. You can buy it at zips.com. So
there's one right over there.
Tell me.
On the other side of that?
Oh, I saw it.
Yep.
Tell me about why you like using the armor angle.
All right. It has several functions. First of all, it's designed to protect your straps, slings, whatever, and also distribute the load. So it does several things all together. On this video, especially whenever we get to it, that's what we're doing, is we're using it to protect our strap because there's not much load there. However, now you can skip it. There you go. However,
so
this product, for years in the industry, we've used aluminum angle, pieces of aluminum angle, and they're thick to be able to withstand the pressure that's being applied to them.
So they're heavy.
They're heavy. If one of them falls out, hard hat may or may not help. Especially if it hits on the point. You know, those aluminum angles were the industry there. Yeah.
Okay.
That is that Zips provided for us to test, and they're lightweight. They're easy to place. And actually, I met the designer of them yesterday.
Oh.
And he taught me a trick so that at the other side, I have to adjust it a couple of times.
Yeah.
He taught me a neat little trick to keep it in place.
Which is, you want to share that neat little trick?
Well, he said you take just a bungee cord and put it here and here around your strap. And that way it'll pull the armor angle along with your strap until it lines up with your boom line.
Okay. Then you don't have to stop.
Then you don't have to stop, loosen it up, and then push it back.
Just a bungee strap.
Just a bungee strap. That's what he said. I said, I asked him, I said, doesn't it, when it's sliding, doesn't it pull the bungee strap out, the hook on it? He said, nope, it slides right along. Okay. So I learned something, which was awesome.
Okay, I do want to show the end of it.
Okay.
So we can see it.
Right.
Oh, it's in the air.
That's all right.
Yay.
Yep, there you go. But there's a lip right there that is really sharp, and there's a lot of open areas where this thing has been damaged. If we'd have used our straps unprotected, there was a high risk that it could have sliced the strap and dropped this thing.
Right.
That's the last thing I want.
Mm-hmm.
And the armor angles did their job on this one perfectly. Protected the strap. We got everything leveled out. Now we're just swinging it around, getting ready to set it on the trailer. Yep.
Well, of course, if you want to watch this entire video, check it out on Ron Pratt's YouTube channel. Thank you, Rotator Ron, for talking us through your strategy on this recovery and the products, some of your favorite products that you like to use. Tomorrow will be our last Q&A session from around 2 to 4 p.m. Come out to the at Baltimore Tow Show. American
Towman
Exposition.
There you go.
Lots of words. But thank you again, Ron, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.